Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Flagler Weather Update. Today is the 22nd of March, 2026. That makes today Sunday. We're going to be taking a look at the weather for the week ahead and see what we will be expecting here in Flagler County. So if you're just joining us for the first time, welcome. And if you're coming back, welcome back. All our information that we present here comes from the National Weather Service. So take a look at satellite imagery. Beautiful day, a little bit breezy across the county. And I just want to show you guys something. And this is kind of a demonstration on how far smoke can travel. So this right here, this is not clouds. This is all smoke. And you can kind of see the source of it. It looks like a big wildfire over here. And it looks like in southern Alabama. And so the smoke from that, look at that. It's going all the way across Georgia. So smoke can travel a very long distance. There's another one in the Panhandle. You can see the smoke from that one spreading out and heading off to the east. So again, smoke can travel a really long distance. So yeah, there was a pretty big fire there and a couple other here. I don't know if these were prescribed burns or if these were wildfires, but I just want to show you how far smoke can actually drift from a source. So let's go and take a look at our weather and what's to be expected the next several days. High pressure in control today kept things nice across the area, but we were on the backside of the high, which is why we had those breezy westerly winds. Now for tomorrow, this front to the north of us begins to creep into the region, and that's going to be a weather changer and a weather maker for us here in Flagler County. And then when we get to Tuesday, that front moves through and gives us a chance of showers, maybe the odd thunderstorm, and a little weak low pressure system tries to develop right along it, and that's going to set the stage for some breezy, almost like a low end nor'easter right along the beaches Tuesday into Wednesday. It's going to be notably cooler and definitely notably breezier, maybe some gust approaching gale force right at the immediate beaches as we get into Tuesday night with passing showers, and then this will persist into Wednesday, and then when we get towards the end of the week, this front sinks further off to the south and things will cool off and settle down with the conditions drying out. Maybe another chance of showers as we get towards the weekend, and we'll talk about that in a minute. So let's talk about what's going on with any local weather hazards, what's going on out there. So we do have that high rip current risk out there at our beaches. That'll probably continue for this week, especially with those onshore winds that are expected. Some places today did have red flag warnings for critical fire weather. We did not have any problems in Flagler County that I am aware of, but we do have critical weather. And critical fire weather is a little bit different than critical fire conditions. Critical fire conditions is very dry ground and dry vegetation, all that. Critical fire weather is breezy, dry westerly winds with very low relative humidity. So we had the critical fire weather conditions, but not necessarily the ground conditions. So again, some patchy inland fog like we had last couple nights will be possible once again. And then we're going to see an isolated chance of maybe the odd thunderstorm through Wednesday. We're not expecting anything like what we had last week with that squall line coming through. We're not looking at anything like that right now. The odd thunderstorm is possible. Again, that high rip current risk, that is expected to continue this week. And again, especially spring breakers, folks coming in from out of town, if you're not familiar with the ocean, this is not the time to be in it. And there's that red flag warning. It just now expired. It expired at 7 o'clock tonight. And we'll have to see if they issue another one tomorrow or not. And then here's our storm outlook as we get into the next, Monday night into Tuesday. The chances of strong or severe storms is pretty much way up here into South Carolina and well north of our area. And we're right on the edge of that thunderstorm potential. So we'll keep a monitor of that because these can change as the forecast gets tweaked right now. But we're not expecting any of this stuff going on here. We are not expecting that in our neighborhood at this point in time. So drought index, now the drought index and the actual drought conditions Not to confuse everybody, it is two different things. So this represents the long-term drought. And currently, right now, we're in D3 extreme drought. But we are getting a little bit of a reprieve, and I'll show you that in just a moment on how the actual soil conditions are as of right now. We'll take a look at that in just a little bit. So let's talk about what's to be expected. So one of the main things this week is going to be the breezy conditions. Tomorrow, we're looking at not too bad, gusting up to 15 miles an hour. That's really no big deal, to be honest, as we go into the first part of the week. But as we get into Tuesday now, the winds are going to pick up. So we're looking at gust up to 22 miles an hour, gust up to 25 at the beaches, and there's probably going to see some gust higher than this. So again, Tuesday, if you have anything that's really lightweight and you live right along the beaches or in an exposed area, like empty trash cans, flags, that kind of stuff. I'm talking about really light stuff. We're not talking about a tropical storm or a hurricane by any imagination, but it is going to get gusty and breezy, especially Tuesday and Wednesday. So if you have anything really lightweight that can be blown down the street, you might want to get that in before Tuesday. And as we go into Wednesday, still rather breezy, but those winds begin to settle down a little bit. And then as we go into the rest of the week, those winds come down, but maybe getting elevated again by Saturday, gusting back up to about 26, 20, maybe up to 30 miles an hour. Again, we'll have to monitor that and see how that goes. If we need to, we will do an update middle part of the week. So how about our rain chances? So because with the drought, people want to know when we're going to see some rain. So tonight, we stay dry all the way across. Tomorrow, we stay dry. And then as we get into Tuesday, those rain chances bump up to about 60%. This does not mean an all-day rain. And right now, we're looking at several rounds of it. Maybe most of this is going to be passing showers. There could be the odd thunderstorm thrown in. So that's what this is looking at right now for Tuesday. But this will be the main weather maker of the week. And then Tuesday night, we still keep some pretty decent rain chances, up to 50%, as coastal showers may be driven ashore by those breezy onshore winds. And as we go into Wednesday, those rain chances stay with us. You notice the higher chances are towards the coast, and those chances, dry up a little bit as you go further inland. So, we do need the rain. So persistent showers, it's pretty rare, but sometimes you can get a band of very intense rainfall that develops with this type of activity and just hangs over an area. We're not looking at that right now, but that's something that we will watch. But sometimes in these scenarios, you can get that. That does happen. And then so as we get to Wednesday night, though, those rain chances dry up. We go through the rest of the week, and we stay dry all the way until we get into Saturday, where we see those rain chances come back up again. Right now, about a 20% chance, but we'll have to watch and see. That's 7 days out. This forecast will be tweaked and adjusted between now and then. So we'll keep an eye on that as well. How about temperatures? How chilly, how warm, and all that stuff? That's something else people like to know about. For tonight, we're down in the 50s largely. Not too bad at all. Pretty cool evening out there. Maybe right at 60 at the beaches. Tomorrow, a mild day, almost warm, getting into the mid-80s, especially along the US 1 FEC railway corridor here. Out in Palm Coast, 85 degrees. The beaches stay in the 70s, 78 to 80. With the winds coming, generally from the west, you're going to see those warmer temperatures pushing to the beaches. Now, tomorrow night, we're back down into the 50s, and there's 60 again. But then as we get into Tuesday, those temperatures still warm, but not as, because we're going to see that unsettled weather starting to get into the picture. So we will be just getting to 80 most locations, cooler at the beaches, just getting to 70 over there. And then those temperatures down in the 60s because the winds will be coming in off the ocean. The ocean temperature is about 67 degrees. So it's going to keep things from getting as cool. So the temperatures there won't be that big of a step between the high temperatures during the day and the low temperatures at night when we get to Tuesday into Wednesday because of those brisk onshore winds. And as we get into Wednesday, you can see, again, temperatures peaking, just getting to 80 inland, just getting to 70 at the beaches. And as we go into Thursday morning, those winds die off now. We start to lose that ocean effect, and we start to cool off a little bit. Lows in the 50s inland, 60s beaches. And then as we go into Thursday, Look for temperatures, again, peaking right around 80 degrees. With those winds dying down, we're going to see those temperatures bumping up just a little bit. And then another front will be coming through, so we're down. Again, with the onshore winds still hanging on, look for lows right near 60 degrees, upper 60s, lower 60s beaches. But as we go into Friday rather, things warm back up again. Friday, we're getting up to about mid 80s inland, mid 70s beaches. And then as we go into Saturday morning rather, temperatures bottoming out near 60. And looking at our temperatures for Saturday, highs a little bit cooler now in the 70s as we see some more breezy onshore winds and a rain chance come back into the picture. Again, right now, only a minimal, like 20% chance on Saturday, but that may increase. It might decrease too. But temperatures, not too bad. Lows in the 50s and 60s. So, right now, looking at the temperatures, it's going to warm up first part of the week, but things cool down just a little bit mid part of the week, but not dramatically so. We're not seeing any real big cold snaps or anything like that on the horizon. So let's go further into the future. So how about into the end of March? So this takes us to April 1st. Not an April Fool's joke. Looks like we're going to be averaging above normal on our temperatures. And precipitation chances right now, looks like we're going to be right about average on precipitation through that period. But let's go further into the future. This takes us right into the first week of April. So it looks like things will be heating up with temperatures above normal on the average. It doesn't mean you still can't get like the odd cooler day. But on the average, expect temperatures to be above normal as we begin the month of April. Precipitation, look for that to be right about normal, at least the way things stand right now. Now let's talk about drought index, wildfires, all that stuff. So this is our current drought index situation. Now, remember that map I showed you earlier that showed the extreme drought across the area? But in the shorter term, we've actually had some moisture, and that has helped us out a little bit. So this little area right here, that's right where Flagler County is, that has helped keep us out of trouble. Your drought index, when you get over 500, is when you start to have problems. And so we are not in that threshold. We're kind of like right in the 300s at the moment. Some places maybe in the 200s in Flagler County. So that's some good news. It doesn't make us fireproof by any stretch, but it decreases the risk of wildfire with all of that going on. So that's definitely some good news there. And hopefully with this more rain that's expected middle part of the week, and again, perhaps over the weekend upcoming, that will help keep us out of trouble. Now, looking at wildfires, we do not have anything going on in Flagler County at this point in time. There are no contained fires or new fires or any fires of any sort, wildfires in Flagler County that the Florida Forest Service is monitoring right now. That's also very good news, and hopefully that will hold. We don't need any wildfire problems. So, just to wrap things up, it looks like that it's going to be a settled start to the week. Monday looks to be another warm day, largely sunny. Could see some thickening cloud, though, as that system to the north gets closer to us. And then as we go into Tuesday, look for a mix of cloud and sunny spells with outbreaks of showers, rain, maybe the odd thunderstorm. The localized heavy downpour, not impossible to get. And look for those winds to increase out of the north and the northeast, getting quite gusty on Tuesday. That will persist into Wednesday. And then as we go into Thursday, Friday, things dry out a little bit. Temperatures staying generally highs right near 80, lows right near 60. And then as we go into the weekend, we're going to start getting breezy again on Saturday with perhaps another chance of rain beginning to increase at least by Saturday. So that's going to wrap it up. Again, if you're just coming in right now and you've missed the whole forecast, once I get done here and this uploads, you will be able to rewind and rewatch and stop and start anytime to your heart's desire. We'll also be posting this on our TikTok channel. We will also be posting this on our YouTube. How you can find us, just on YouTube, search for @FlaglerWeatherInfo. On TikTok, search for @FlaglerWeatherInfo. Everybody out there have a great week. Be safe out there. And if there's some significant changes to the forecast, we will be back middle of the week. If not, we'll be back towards the next weekend. Everybody have a great evening.